negotiators in the world. We have the greatest business people in the world. We're going to use these great business people. Carl Icahn endorsed me, so many others. We're going to use our great leaders, our great business people. It's time.
President-elect Donald Trump on the campaign trail promising he will surround himself with great people when he enters the White House. And earlier today, Mr. Trump announced that Vice President-elect Mike Pence will now serve as the chairman of the presidential transition team. And his family will also be a part of it. Joining us now with reaction is the president-elect's senior advisor, Kellyanne Conway. Listen, a lot of people have been calling me today about transition this, transition that. Why don't you just tell us? We'll ask you straight up. What's going on?
Well, we're trying to form a federal government, and it's up to President-elect Trump to choose those advisors he wants around him on his senior team, key positions, cabinet. It's a very big task, but it's one that's been worked on for many months away from the campaign, Sean, by the transition team that was originally headed up by Governor Christie, who still serves as the vice chair. But it makes perfect sense to have Vice President-elect Mike Pence with this role because, first of all, most of the transition will go on in D.C., some of it here in New York, but also because Mike Pence will be the vice president. So you've got a lot of familiar faces, a lot of familiar names on that list, those of us who have been here, those who have been trusted advisors, elected officials for Governor Pence and for Mr. Trump, and we're just excited to see how Mr. Trump forms his government and his team.
I guess the fear that I heard from some people was that will Donald Trump put people maybe that weren't as loyal to him during the campaign and surround himself with people, I would argue, the cut and run people. You know, they're there now, but they weren't there during the tough moments in the campaign. Is that a possibility, or that won't happen?
Well, we all know Donald Trump values loyalty. It's very important to him, and he is loyal to people in return. But in addition, you want to find people who are qualified and effective to do the job. And I think those are probably the two major criteria for him. I will tell you that there are very talented men and women who were part of his campaign, and frankly, who were part of his outside advisors, or folks who just supported him and did so vocally and visibly. And if we're hearing from many of them, there's a process in place. We have an executive director who's working tirelessly to process some of these credentials and see where we are. But I think the most exciting thing that happened this week is the people have spoken. They had an election that's for them, Sean. I mean, I've been in polling for decades. You've been doing this for decades. People finally got their wish. They got the outsider. They got the non-politician. They got somebody who is going to go to Washington as our president, who owes no one anything. And that is truly an election for the people, of the people, and by the people.
You know, there's always what we call a honeymoon period. I suspect in Mr. Trump's case, it may not be as long as he probably hopes for. To me, his job is probably simple, and it's probably something he's used to. In other words, he made very strong commitments about Supreme Court justices, about refugees, about the wall, about Obamacare, about energy, about education, about our vets, about national defense and national security. To me, if he just follows that list, I would think those people that supported him will be happy. Made promises about taxes, corporate tax rates, repatriation of trillions. If we could send that money to Michigan and Detroit, and we could send it to Wisconsin and Ohio and Pennsylvania, those most depressed areas, people that would want to build factories and manufacturing centers, I think we could see a much quicker recovery than maybe we even saw during the Reagan years. Is that something that's on the table?
Yes, it is, and it certainly is worth a try, Sean, and you're absolutely correct. If you want to know what President Donald Trump is going to do, go read his 100-day plan. It's there for everyone to see. It is specific. It includes solutions, policies, and I think the excuse of divided government that allows people to get nothing done is over. The electorate gave Donald Trump the White House, but they also gave Republicans control of the House and Senate so that he would have a mandate. He would have the tools and equipment to let him pass these pieces of legislation that he has promised. And look at that 100-day plan. It's what you just mentioned, but it's also things like expanding educational opportunities. You know, something Governor Pence has done masterfully in Indiana is expand vocational and technical educational opportunities. Not everyone is college material. So you graduate high school with a skills certificate and you're eminently employable, especially to an administration that wants to bring back these jobs that have been shipped off to China and Mexico. We also, let's not forget, Sean, we have a vacancy on the United States Supreme Court. So obviously that's a big priority. Mr. Trump has already put out his list of possible nominees.
How certain are you he'll choose from that list?
Always be. He said that he will.
I believe he will, right?
He said that he will, and what's important about that list is everyone on that list is qualified to do the job, and everyone on that list is in the mold of an Antonin Scalia. He said that's very important to him. These are people who respect the Constitution, and they don't make up the law as they go along.
You spend a lot of time with Donald Trump. Do you think he understands? There are now a lot of people kissing his ring and sucking up, and he's going to be the president. That probably will be the first to cut and run when things get tough. And it's inevitable. Things are going to get tough, as they do for every president.
Well, perhaps that's human nature. But what I do know about Donald Trump is the man is brilliant, and he has fabulous instincts, and he read America spot on correctly. And his messages, and him as a messenger, and even his delivery system through these rallies and through digital communication, some advertising, but really just his personal delivery system and his delivery style is what resonated. And I think anybody who's going to work in his administration, Sean, will realize that this is his presidency, this is his voice, these were his choices. People elected him and Mike Pence to do the job, and people ought to be supportive of that if they want to be part of the administration. I have to tell you, the Never Trumpers have been a little quieter since Tuesday night. They have a right to say what they want, but they were dead wrong. People were just dead wrong about the data, about who is in the electorate, about our chances in the upper Midwest, about our chances in blue states that President Obama carried twice, where I've been saying for months Hillary Clinton's ceiling is 46, 47%. She just can't get past it. We have an opportunity. And it's his message. You know what you learned from this election? Quality candidates matter. We were always going to be outspent and never outworked or outclassed. And his message in the last couple weeks was positive and uplifting, but it was also very tough and very specific, but it was not negative and nasty. We took all the incoming from the other side, and history will show that the woman who lost as the first female president of the United States did it in the last couple of weeks with a very nasty negative campaign. She paid tens of millions of dollars to just descend upon Donald Trump, stop him, and it didn't work. People saw right through it.
Yeah. All right, Kellyanne, I assume you didn't get a lot of sleep this week. Can you count the hours?
I
assume you can, right? How many hours
a night?
It doesn't
matter. I'm absolutely, not many, but I'm absolutely euphoric and so happy that that Donald Trump is our next president and Mike Pence is our next vice president. I mean, it's great for the country, and I'll support them any way I can.
All right. Congratulations to you. It's certainly, I know you put in a lot of work. When we come back, this is coming up next tonight.